Hi guys, how are you? I hope you are all doing great. And here I am Paria from magicalords team with another lovely episode of my spaces with inspirations in Web3. So here we go. Today we have a very special space because we have two people today for my space, and both of them are collectors. So yeah, they are not artists today, but they both have very unique and interesting visions. So we are going to talk about a lot of stuff today, and we are going to talk about different kinds of visions, and we have a lot of people today. So yeah, it would be a very exciting space, and as I said, it is a little different. So it would be around 3 hours. So make sure that you have a cup of water and also your pen and your papers, because we are going to talk about a lot of different kinds of things, and that would be so helpful. So be with me to the end.
And thank you for joining me. I hope I won't have any problem with my connection and such things that I always have problem. So we are all champions, aren't we? Thank you. Thank you for listening to me and joining me. And here we go. We have Shash and Mike today. How are you guys?
Great, thanks for having me.
Yeah, doing pretty good. How are you? Am I rugging?
Okay, she has some
Magical?
technical difficulties.
I'm
Yeah,
here.
sorry.
Do you hear me? I hear all of you.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay, thank God. Okay.
It's okay. Don't get stressed. It's okay. Just just breathe.
Okay, so hi again. If you didn't hear me, we are here with a lot of lovely souls, and we are going to share our ideas, experiences, and making some connections maybe. And who knows what would happen in today's space. Thank you for joining me and having me. I hope you all having well, and I'm here to listen to you. Hi, Shash. Hi, Mike.
Hello, we can hear you.
Yeah, the last 15 seconds were perfect. Uh, are you doing well, Magical Lords?
Thank you. I'm great. I'm great. If my connections just let me. Okay. Hi, Pardis.
Hi. I should say hi to everyone, to Shash and dear Mike, and thanks to accept our inviting. And we are very happy today to speak with you. Actually, I know Paria has a really problem with the Iran connection, internet connection, and these days we have a I don't know, something like as a political problem in Iran, and they make some border on our internet. And the people for in Iran is really hard. Thank you, Parijan, to manage the space. We are so happy to have you here today.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, for the first thing that we are just going to start, Paradis, please just accept people, because I'm a little ruggy and I don't want to the space being right. So you just please go on with the accepting people. And for the first thing that I want Shash and Mike to start, you can just start. from who you are okay with. I want to know more about you, Mike, Shash. I want to know your journey, your experience. What happened that you just came into NFT market, and what just takes you to this market? And I want to know you more a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you. Who should I go first?
Yeah,
Hey,
for
Mike.
sure.
Yeah. You should start, man.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Thank you for having me here today. My inclusion in this space is relatively new. I started about a month and a half ago in this space. Before then, I had never purchased an NFT. I had never even sent a tweet out. Social media is not something that I really ever did personally. But a friend of mine told me about this NFT space. He knew that I collected physical art and suggested that I get involved in this because this was going to be the future. And the last 45 days both went by so quick, and also seems like it's many, many months that I've been here. Everyone that I have met from different parts of the world that I've never met people from have just been very welcoming, and it's been a pleasure. I have a lot of fun. There's a lot of energy here, and there also seems to be a lot of interest in hearing about different perspectives. So I think these spaces are really good for that, where we each get to take our experience and talk about it and share. And looking forward to seeing what we bring up today. Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome and really cool, man. Like coming from the physical world art space, it's fantastic. In fact, mine is kind of in the sense a similar journey as well. Though I started like in crypto full time back in 2016 just to figure out, that at some point of time I'll figure out something to do. In 2017, I ended up like after trying out a bunch of things here and there, what can be done in the crypto space. I started like a YouTube channel with a friend and just putting out content on things that we researched just to make it easy for people to understand what we understood, and it did well. We've we've posted like over 3200 videos on the channel already, and like we have like 370,000 subscribers on it. It's called Altcoin Buzz. And yeah, and like I minted my I bought my first crypto kitty back in 2017, which was the first NFT I ever got. And then 2018, I minted like a collection just for fun because there was no concept of collection. I didn't even know what I was doing, but it was goosebumps all around for me. And then, like, yeah, then at that point of time, like we got into game NFTs quite early on, and that was sort of thing that we felt was going to be huge. ETH was not that expensive, and the fees wasn't that high as well. So we felt that maybe possible to have some games on it. And game NFT trade was a big thing, though there was no OpenSea, so we were trading on Telegram groups at that point of time. And then after that, like gaming became quite big eventually, and then just like a few things here and there. And yeah, and then like about 1.5 years ago, I wanted to diversify my portfolio a little bit. And I thought I want to invest more into like NFTs and stuff. And what really appealed to me was the art NFT side. So I thought like maybe I'll figure out what to do. And then there were the PFPs that were catching on, and that still don't in my head make a lot of sense except from a business perspective. Things like Bored Apes and all have done pretty smart stuff to create like a big label and a brand for themselves. But then, like, when I got into the space, like, at least attempted to 1.5 years ago, it was like I had no clue about art at all. So I was like, okay, need to figure out this stuff first. And because the NFT side didn't make any sense, I thought I will get some sense from the real world as well. So I started visiting galleries, started speaking with people to understand how the real world art business worked. Because for me, it was first was the investment side, and just like looking at some of the art there, I started kind of falling in love with it as well. And for me, it was different also because around that time I had like a daughter as well. And so for me, like it was a bit of a different journey, and it became more than just investment. I started really falling in love with a lot of like physical. Yeah, sorry. Where, I don't know. Where did you guys lose me? I started getting a call. Apologies.
I just heard the physical part.
Yeah, I started looking at physical art and started studying what's happening in that and how does the business work and how does that work. And then like I started having my own art appreciation journey in a way where I started really like kind of figuring out like what it all means to me in the first place. And then then yeah, I think about 3 months ago, I started playing around in the fringes of the NFT art space, just like buying and figuring out what's going on. Nothing very serious. And then, like, I think over a month ago or around a month ago, this incident happened where I accidentally bid 10 times more on a particular piece than I intended to. Uh, and the artist was just gracious enough to connect with me and be like, hey, I don't want this. You should have this. And I felt like there's something deeper here than I'd seen in the other side of crypto. So I felt extremely like, okay, maybe this is worth exploring. And then, yeah, so since then, I've been spending more and more time making more noise because I like doing that. And also, like, I started like talking about my art journey. And apparently, people think I'm some kind of an art critic or an expert. I'm not. Like, I'm just like talking about stuff that I understand and sort of what it makes me feel. And I have no idea about the intricacies that go into creating most of the art. So yeah, like yeah, that's too much info from my end, but yeah, that's my journey so far.
I think it's very interesting that you bring up that you don't know exactly what goes into making the art because I felt the same way. And once in a while, I find a video that a specific artist will actually share with the community, showing exactly what they're doing step by step along the way, or for the digital creations to be able to kind of within a 10 seconds be able to show you from start to finish the creation of their piece that may be currently minted or currently in auction. When I buy NFTs, I always ask, is there a high resolution digital copy that I can have via email or something to be able to maybe create a bigger print of a physical, for example. But I think it's so important to not only, and I've said this before, have a very meaningful title for the NFTs that are being put up for sale. Also, a very accurate and purposeful description, and also to be able to, if you can, share kind of little bits and pieces of what goes into making that art, because that's the story. Those three things are the story behind what you're creating, and a lot of times that's what needs to make a connection to a buyer, not just the finished product, which most of us who are buying the art really don't create the art. So we need to know that in order to be able to find that extra perceived value.
Actually, I want to add something and ask something because it's we are always listen to the artists that and always all their space has something like as a shilling a space, and we are always listen to the artists, and we are trying to listen to the collector, and we connect with the other artists to ask some question with you. And this is I think it's very important things, what is the in the background of the mind of the one collector of the art. And today I just check your Mike account and also dear Shash for the Twitter. And you, for example, Shash, you tweet something like as this: I don't collect the art, I collect a piece of your soul. And this is for me, it's something like as amazing thing. But I have some question that another friend asked me something like as this: have you ever bought something like as art from that artist that you thought it's not in your list and it's not in your uh, a style, but if you support that artist, it has a maybe for her, or he has a good future for her. Have you ever support something artist, something like as these?
So I think, like, I also tweeted, right, like every collector has his own way of thinking, and every artist has their own way of creating things, and one doesn't need to be like that. So, like, what Mike's style is very different from mine. Like, for me, I purposefully try and avoid reading the title or description or anything to do with the art for as long as I can if I really like it. Like, for me, I spend possibly days, if not weeks, with one particular piece because I'm not thinking investment at that point of time. I'm not thinking ownership. I'm just feeling like, what is this piece saying to me? And I don't care about the artist at that point of time. Like, it really doesn't matter to me. And then if I feel like, because I feel art is essentially free. What you pay for is sort of a respect to the artist for the stuff, and then you could possibly you know uh, look at it from an investment perspective as well. But I think the two may or may not clash in my head. I'm still kind of working on a collector manifesto for myself, like what am I doing here, in the sense. But yeah, my kind of thinking and my journey with the art is quite different from what Mike does, and I actually don't want to know in the beginning what goes into creating the art, how easy it was, how hard it was, because all that is all that takes away from me me standing in the shoes of the creator myself and looking at the art and asking myself, what is this telling me? And then, like, you spend more and more time with it, and then at some point of time it calls you back, and then I realized that I really like that piece. And then I would judge it from an investment perspective, where I will look at the artist, then I will see like how big the collection is, and then the peripheral sort of comes around for me. So this is sort of the way I go about it. I've still not really started investing yet. Like, I haven't put in big monies into buying like stuff that I feel would be investable, because I still don't understand what truly is investable in this space. But I kind of do understand what I like. And yeah, with the stuff that I like, there are essentially two ways that I look at it. Like, one is stuff that uh, means something to me, like it says something to me at a subconscious level, or maybe it reminds me of a memory uh, of my past, where like, it is something that was important in my life, and sort of that art depicts it. So collecting those pieces is something that I feel really good about, and it makes me feel good as a thought process behind my collection as well.
Shash, that's very interesting because I think the underlying foundation of how both of us go about it is quite similar. On the fringes, there's our own particular style and approach. I will not buy something, and we'll speak specifically about the NFT community here. I will not buy anything unless it absolutely speaks to me, or captures my heart, or captures my soul. And I usually know within seconds whether or not that's going to be. But it's not a decision that I make. I try to explain this to artists that contact me directly and say, I want to be a part of your collection. And that in and of itself is an honor, because I'm really not sure what I did to create this interest in being in my collection, other than building a collection. I'm not trying to make little of it. It's just that I really didn't do anything miraculous. I have an eye for certain subjects and categories, and I pursue that. And in a way, the collector starts to make their own art by forming a collection. So when you look at various pieces inside a collection, that in and of itself as a whole, to me, starts to become a piece of art as well. But I won't buy anything that doesn't call to me. And I think that for me, seeing what goes into it is so interesting, because I like to figure out, after I realize that something calls to me, what really went into doing that. We sometimes feel that the most elaborate things need to be the most amount of money. And then what we find out is that sometimes the simplest things make the most impact to us. And I like to be able to weigh that out and find the balance between what I'm feeling and what reality is. When I hear that an artist spends 100+ hours to create an NFT that I just look at in a matter of seconds in a community, that everyone else is just looking at hundreds or thousands of NFTs during any course of a day or a week, I feel for the process behind that, because 100 hours, regardless of how much your hours are worth, it's 100 hours worth of your life, and time at the end of the day is really all we have. So I feel for the artists who are spending all of this time to do all of this work, to put it up online, and may never even get a bid or even a view or a like. I try to convey to the artists to be mindful of their time so that they can not only just build their brand, but also eventually be able to at least get compensated for their time, if not make a profit, which is what business is all about.
That is really awesome conversation between two, different thinking about the collecting art, and it was really amazing. And both of you, dear Mike and dear Shash, it has it has a different type of the collecting, and it is very nice for the all of us and the community, because as I know, and dear Mike, you said you in your account you are here for the supporting NFT art community, and it is very nice to hear this conversation. Actually, I have one thing, another question, because my dear friend Paria has no sound and just read the subtitle with us. And I have one question. Uh, how actually, what is the most important question when you want to, when you ask yourself when you want to buy an art? What is your question when you asking for yourself, when you look at of the art and decide to buy it? Do you have any rules for your something like as this? Do you have any question behind of the part of the soul and part of the the time? Is it have something like as a, this is the fine art or this is the art? Do you have something like as this question with yourself?
Should I go first on this one? I'll take
Of
it.
course.
So yeah, like I was saying earlier, within the first couple of seconds, it just calls to me. Something calls to me, and I myself am interested to know, what is it about this picture that I'm looking at that calls to me? It's not only something that affects me in a intrinsic or spiritual way, but it also, in a way, forces me to recognize why I am feeling something, which is really a soul searching event in and of itself. I never really thought about it this way, but the process of looking at different pieces of art, the artists behind the art, and where I am at in life at that one particular moment, I start to realize that there's connections that are being made without me even being conscious of that. And to stop and step back and see what those are really tells me more about myself than I may have been aware of at that moment. And that is a very special thing, in my opinion, because it means that I'm growing through this. Shash mentioned something earlier, and I'm going to second his comment about, I'm not really even sure what value proposition really exists in this other than what it means to me. And when I look, even when I buy a number of NFTs that are smaller amounts, under 0.1 or between 0.1 and 0.5 of ETH, when you buy enough of those, they start to really add up to lots lots of dollars and a good amount of money. And I haven't yet sold anything. If I see something that I really like, I want to buy it and keep it because it means something to me. And to trade it, I would kind of feel like I'd be losing something, as silly as that sounds. Because first and foremost, I am collecting something that speaks directly to me. And not everything does. So when you actually find something and it means something, then you stick to it. But I wanted to second his Shash's motion about that, because I'm constantly on the path to try and find people who understand more than I do, or to figure out why buy an NFT. Because look, NFT stands for fiat currency, which is fungible, it's exchangeable. Okay, NFTs are not. So later on, are we or are we not going to be able to use this collection that we're putting together as currency? These are all questions that no one really has the answer to. And I'm constantly just looking to see of developments of why we would do this. But in the meantime, again, to what Shash said, there's much more behind this on a very human and spiritual level, where we're meeting people who are genuine and who have hearts and who are really here with us. I think we're all pioneers.
I just try my best not to be right, but that would happen. And really sorry for that. I'm just getting, it is just crazy, but I'm just getting somehow maybe used to it. But sorry for what happened. It was not my fault, but I just try my best not to be right again. And thank you for joining again. Sorry for the interruption, Mike. I was just reading what you were talking about. So you can just go on, and we will.
Yeah,
And people just join us.
I was basically wrapping up at that point, saying that it's very special that the people in the community we're meeting, where Shash was talking about paying 10 times more than what he was really intending to bid, and the artist recognized that it wasn't for them. I mean, look, not everybody is going to behave like that, but when they do, it really does increase our hope and belief in humanity. And I think that's important, and we shouldn't lose sight of that. We're all creating something in this space and in our lives. Some of us are extremely talented in arts, and they create NFTs. And we're all, whether we create art or not, we all create our realities. We're all creators. And we're pioneers to be in this space. I was saying earlier, I don't know if I got cut off at that point, but we're all pioneers in this space. We're all trying to figure out where this is going, where we belong within it. And to be a pioneer, to be early into something, really speaks volumes about who you are. I keep hearing in these spaces about how certain people are shy. Public speaking is always a very interesting topic, because of certain fears or lack of confidence. But to hear people say, well, so and so is introverted, so that's the reason why they don't want to speak. No, that has nothing to do with it. I'm introverted. I can speak with many people, and one doesn't have anything to do with the other. Lack of confidence will lead to shyness, that's for sure. But you can be introverted and have confidence and be able to speak. I think this is how we can help each other, by having these types of conversations.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got lost in what you were saying, Mike, earlier, and I thought it's so interesting to hear your perspective, because it's pretty interesting to put things in the way you have. And yeah, I thought I really forgot what the question was, but like, to add to your point with regards to artists, like, maybe maybe I find it a bit challenging to spend time and to find those artists, discover those who are really like so focused on their art, and they might have a problem of being a little shy. Maybe they're shy now. Like, I come from the altcoin space, man. So for me, like, the last 6 years, all I've done is trying to hunt gems, right? Like, this has been sort of my goal. So while one side of it is quiet, philosophical, quite personal, quiet, like my own, like something that means something to me, and I'm with you, right? Like, I have a photo printer at home. I try and get prints or whatever I can. In fact, most of the art that I've bought is like, it actually has physical copies, and all of them are either shipped to me already or coming to me. I love to display them. I feel a lot of art is not a lot of art, like a lot of stuff is not, there's no justice done to it when we see it on our screens. So yeah, I kind of agree with you. I kind of do understand, and I kind of feel that it's an interesting perspective. But when it comes to investment side, right? Like, firstly, I don't think I've invested in a single NFT from an investment perspective yet, right? Like, there is hope with some that I've bought, but literally, like, I I get hurt when I'm disappointed in things, and this space is hard, right? Like, the NFT space is like fringe technology right now. Many artists, people in general, may not be able to survive a 1 2 year bear market. Like, you have to have a massive survivalist mentality to be here. And this place is super vocal, right? Like, and a lot of things are very standardized, and a lot of these things aren't really best practices, right? Like, I think a lot of standard practices we have are bad practices as well. So I think that the improvement this space will have in 2 years will make it much more easy for a plethora of artists and collectors to be here. But I think as of now, like, it's really about surviving, and how I feel that the key is like, how do the artists figure out that in this really small, just upcoming space, they can establish themselves 2 years from now, and really running after individual collectors, and especially guys like me who have no clue what they themselves are doing. Like, I most of the time I'm like not sure of what I am. Like, I'm still writing my collector manifesto, and I'm keep changing it. Like, my investment side keeps evolving on a regular basis. My thought process behind uh, what I like sort of changes quite a bit sometimes. And initially I never find anything strike. Like, I can say something is adorable, and I can really visually find it appealing, but for me to like think about having it in my collection, it never happens instantly, in my opinion. Like, it takes me a really long time to kind of feel that, and once I spend that time with it, then I look at like whether it's even investable for me. So things are extremely slow at my end so far. But I and from because it's money, right? Like, at the end of the day, uh, I do think about like, will it even have value for the investment side, which I'm saying like I haven't done. But when I do start investing in stuff, then I will ensure, or at least keep track on the fact that the artists have a plan for the future, that they kind of know that, if things go really bad in next 6 months, they know how to survive. If they go really really bad for 1.5 years, they will be able to survive, in fact thrive more than anything else. Like, I'm looking for those quiet ones who really have that potential to make it, because they're putting their heads down and working. They're not reaching out to me or anybody else, because all they need to do is like make sure that their freaking collection that they want to build is built and becoming massive, like 6 months from now. Who are not like pushing for, and who are they even marketing to? Like, guys like me are irrelevant right now. Like, I don't even know. Like, maybe I'll be super proud of my collection 5 years from now, but as of now, I'm pretty lost. So like, i I think, yeah, that's all I have to say on that. I don't know where that question was, so I just answered to something I had no idea what was it.
No, Shash, it's good to basically speak about these things and open up the conversation beyond the question, because like I said, we're pioneers. Like you said, we're scouting these artists. That's really kind of what we're doing. We weren't, you and I, based on what we're talking about today, did not come into this as a professional art collector and curator. We're scouts. We're scouting some art. We're scouting talent. We're trying to figure out what might be. We're all guessing. We're all walking around in the dark, including the artists. And what'll happen is that later on, if all of a sudden what we bought becomes worth a lot, we're going to look like we were brilliant, and we're going to say, well, why didn't we do more of that? It's always the hindsight, right? But at the end of the day, I think that from the business point of view, I can say we definitely know that fiat currencies all across the world are being diluted to infinity. And we need to figure out how to find where we can put our hard-earned money or our investment returns into something that'll have a sustainable future. I think no matter how we determine to invest or how we determine to collect art in this case, we can all, from the business perspective, agree, and I think you touched on this earlier, that we need to do this for future preservation. So we'll go forward with it.
Yeah, I really liked hearing you out today, man. Pretty cool. I think Neen so
Thank
has
you.
a question. Please go ahead. I'm taking over the host position for a second here
No
because
problem, no
No,
problem.
no, we are real friends, and it's a very okay. Yeah, you can all of the panel. You can ask your question because it's a really nice conversation between two sides of the collecting art, and it's very nice to speak and ask your question. Niece, floor is yours.
Hi, Shash. Oh my God. How can you say you're irrelevant? Like, I've been meaning to contact you for like, I don't know, like 10 days now. I host a show on Saturdays and I also co-host like 4 days, um, like a show with Monster Legacy and I was like, wouldn't be that like nice to have Shash, but I was too shy to ask you because like, you're quite a celebrity. And I just wanted to ask, I mean, really from everyone. Um, like I'm a photographer. I've been a photographer for like nearly a decade now. I shoot on films and I do analog photography. But here, like since day one, literally since day one that I've met my friend Kristen here, I've been helping others to kind of promote themselves, and I had problem to promote myself because I was like, okay, so what's the point? I mean, um, it was like kind of like a challenge for me because I was trying to be a known artist in a way and also like pay for my college tuition at the same time because like I want to study art therapy in England and that's very pricey, but like I was like, it's more important to help my friends because, like, I know people from Nigeria and, like, they cannot afford to get data to present for themselves. I know people in, like, um, wherever, really, that, like, they're less fortunate. And it was like I kind of felt like it was my job to have helped them. And it was kind of hard, like, and also like I'm empathetic person, and it's sometimes really hard for me to go to spaces and like wait for hours to get a mic and talk about myself. Like I think in this month, I've been to like two Sloika spaces and I talked to Pam and Dima, and that's it. That was the only friendliest space that I was in. And the others were like, people presenting their friends and not giving anyone else mics, and that's it. And so, like, even in the spaces, I like, even now that I'm talking here, I'm kind of having a panic attack because like I can get energies, and I know after this I'm gonna like have a really weird situation, and like I have to get like a probably like two water bottles and hydrate myself and do like all sorts of ritual to get better and recover. And but like, I just wanted to know, how do you guys promote yourself? Like, how do you um like, what is the best way to, first of all, not crack the dignity of yours, and create a safe space for artists like yourself? Like, I'm asking this from Paradis, I'm asking this from, I don't know, Mana, Neda, Daryush, whoever. And also Shash and Mike. Magical also. I think Magical is doing an absolutely amazing work. And I really adore what is that she's doing, because I could never. I'm such a weirdo. Like, I could get really sociable, but then I have to like I don't know, take a week off from everything and get recharged again. So, yeah, that was my question.
Okay, let me ask it maybe in another way, because I mostly ask that question in my spaces. Thank you for your visions, Ninso. It was amazing. And thank you all for answering and having questions and actually collaborating with me in this space. A very quick refresh, guys. It is just a space for chill chatting and sharing your experiences and such things. We want to make our community, we want to build our connections with people, and I'm here to help you, to help myself, to help all of us do that. And that is the reason I just started such spaces and started to ask people like Shash and Mike to join me. And thank you, all of them just accepted to join me and helping me to do that. So I think we should maybe ask this question. Anybody can answer, but I specifically want the vision of Shash and Mike about the definition of community, and in your opinion, how people should build their community, because we mostly hear community building. We have to make our community. What is that? What is that in your opinion? I want to know that vision. Thank you.
So, like from my end, right? Like I feel that there is enough empathy in this space, so I don't really add any to it, right? Like I don't have that. I I have no goal right now to support any artist. That's just gonna get me hurt at some point of time. So that's not something I'm doing at all. If it is happening because of something that I'm doing, that's amazing. I don't take credit to help anyone at all. Like this is not my way of thinking. Like people reach out to me and like, hey man, like you're changing this space. No, I am actually simply just figuring out my own journey in the art space, and I am only just figuring out stuff that I like. I talk about the stuff that I like. I don't retweet anything. I don't support anybody I don't know. Like I'm pretty crystal clear that like I'm trying to really have an experience here which I really enjoy. And if somebody benefits from what I'm thinking and sharing, that's amazing. If you enjoy my thought process, that's amazing. Uh, like even on my chats, like somebody reaches out to me, I'm like, give me a couple of weeks, man, because like it's not so fast for me that I can say something about anybody's work. It takes me a really long time. I have a list of now over 2300 collections that I really want to spend time with, and I don't think I have the time in the day to look at all of them, right? So at the end of the day, like I pick up ones that really feel like these will talk to me, and I start spending time with them. And if I like something, I put it in my daily featured post and that people like, or if I buy something, then I talk about just that. I would never retweet anything that I haven't really bought. I wouldn't do it because it's not something I'm attempting to do. I'm not trying to solve everybody's problem. I'm just trying to have my own journey. And if people like what I'm doing, then, go along with me, and maybe, there is something that you might enjoy. And I'm mostly cracking jokes on Twitter. So, like, the thing is that I think there is a bit of a misconception sometimes that, we guys are like art critics or experts or something. Right now, there aren't too many of that in the space. And what I am truly is an entrepreneur. What I am going to do is I'm going to figure out the real pain points of this space, and some point of time, maybe in a year or something like that, build something that I feel is worth solving in it. And that is sort of like my third thing here. So, like, the first thing is I want to have like a journey with art and understanding it and spending my time with it. Second one is investment, and the third one is to figure out if there is a problem worth solving. So yeah, like, not trying to be too crude here, but like, this is my actual way of going about stuff right now.
Thanks, Josh. Magical, can you please just repeat the two-part question for me again so I can?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Uh, Before that, so what I get from you, Shash, it was about you don't believe in community and something like that, or you just have your definition of community as you were just talking about.
Yeah, I think do good things, and people will like it. Like, that's what it is. Like, I that's all I do, right? Like, and that's what I feel is my approach to building a community, is a bunch of people who kind of resonate with my thoughts. So when I want to have a discussion with them, when I want to understand something, sometimes when I'm lost, I can reach out to them and be like, hey man, like, this is my issue, and like, can you help me with it? And I'm always able to get some kind of a understanding in areas where I get stuck in. And I don't need to have the same problem every time, right? Like, I need to evolve really well in this space. And if I'm doing the same thing over and over again, I won't be able to evolve the way I need to. So, like, if community means helping everyone, that's not the goal. If community means helping people who I think have potential, or I resonate with, then yes, I always will do that. Like, that's my definition of community.
Yeah, thank you. Guys, I see all of you, but whenever some people goes down, I can bring all of you up. So please bear with me. Okay, Mike, the question was about the definition of community and community building.
Okay, thank you. So, to me, community is a group of individuals that get together from some common hobby or bond or goal that looks to grow rather than just get old with the passing of time. We can all just sit down in a chair and get old together. But how are we growing together? If we're not growing, we're just getting old. That's the way I look at it. I always have. And from the communication part, and how do we actually build that? I think communication truly has to come from the heart. We can all speak from the mind, but that's really kind of what causes stress. If we speak from the heart, truly, meaning we know what we believe, we know who we are, and we know how we serve, then what happens is that we speak very effortless and freely, and we do it in truth. And what happens is that you kind of catch people's attention when you do that, because every one of us wants to be able to be a part of truth. It's just that society and thinking get in the way, and next thing you know, agendas pile on top of each other, and we're all trying to figure out our way through everyone's agenda. If we just step back for a moment and say what's truly on our heart, not only is it less stressful, it's also much more effective.
Wow, that was awesome, you know. I'm just getting emotional because it is just a very different answer that I'm getting today. I think it is just because you two are a little different from the other guests that I had in my spaces. Most of them were artists and collectors, but now we have two collectors, and your visions are so unique, and I really enjoy that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay, let's go with Fools, and after that, we will hear Dariush. Fools, you can go on.
Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yeah,
Hello.
sure.
Huh.
Hi, hi.
Thanks, Magical Lords, for hosting this session, and for this. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I'm my name is Shubhrajit, and I'm from West Bengal, India. And my I am here to share my journey as I was listening to you guys, and I learned a lot. And seriously, this is one of my first Twitter spaces on outside of my community. I'm generally with only the people that I know, but here it's so amazing, and I'm learning so many things from Mike and Shash. And I will like to share my journey, but before that I came here seeing Shash here, and I didn't know about him back till yesterday. And he has been he has made a big change in my life since yesterday, without knowing, I guess. Yesterday, I am from West Bengal, near the part region Assam, and there was a huge flood there, and lots of my friends lost their house, and lots of properties were damaged, and many things happened. On this platform, Wazirex NFT, my few friends did a fundraiser, and Shas was I don't know if it was him or the brand altcoin, but they went and put up a whole lot of money on those fundraiser. And I think that was very much successful, and it was such a huge kind of act. And on the whole platform, that was the biggest fundraiser ever done. And it was something that is so personal to me, because my friends are still stuck there, and their families are there, and this person I don't know from Web3, he comes up and buys those NFTs. And I believe there are artworks attached to it, and those can be the utility. But that was mainly a fundraiser, and I'm so happy about it. Thank you so much for this whole thing, and making me believe that this kind of magic happens. Uh, Secondly, my journey as a NFT creator started back in January, when I was sitting with some of my friends, and they are all
Cool.
musicians and rappers.
Cool.
So
Do
these,
you hear me?
sorry,
Do you hear me? Okay,
yes,
sorry.
yes.
Sorry for the interruption, but we are mostly here to share our experiences and maybe ask some questions and learn from each other. And yeah, I
Can I
really
hesitate?
want to keep the space like that. So if you
All
have
right,
some
I'll keep it short. I'll keep it short. Yeah.
No,
So
no, no. If you want to share some experience that is related, or if you want to ask anything, it's okay to go on. But about sharing your art journey, I really love to hear that. But maybe in another space that is related, because we are here to share our experiences mostly, not the art journey. And thank you.
Thank you so much. Actually, yeah, I would like to share. It's not about. I'm not here to shill at all. I saw stars, and that's why I came up. But it's not been. I'm very low key on marketing, and I don't. I'm very bad at that. But like. What I have been doing, and the kind of my experience through this NFT platforms has been I support other musicians who are not in the NFT space. So I am learning myself, and I am educating other musicians from Indian underground scenes. And these I had a very good fortune. When I started, I had a fixed price piece, some collector came and like he got that for like more value than it was posted. So like that was a game changer, and like my feelings changed after that. Like somebody can come and they can pay more value to what you are asking. So this kind of gestures from collectors, like those opened up my eyes, and like what we have built after that has like already spoken. And like thank you for all the like experiences that you guys shared and all the reviews. And yeah, I believe these NFTs are artworks that you invest on, and not just go and like buy just like that. So yeah, thanks for everything. Thanks for letting me speak.
Thank you for joining and sharing. Yeah, that was inspiring. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Dariush, let's go to you and then we will hear Neda and Elmira. Hi, Dariush.
Hi, Pario, Pardesh, Shash, Mike. Thanks for having me, all the beautiful people in the panel and in the audience. I have a question about, since you're just joined to NFT space, I believe the recent trend is the first trend that you are experiencing. And I was wondering, how do you feel about trends in NFT space in general? How do you feel about this cheetah trend? And do you consider it as a noise? And is it bother you to find your favorite pieces or not? Thanks for having me.
So is your question like about trends, and is Twitter a trend for the NFT art space? Am I getting that question right?
Yo, I don't know if you followed this cheetah trend that is which is going on in the space right now. Did you cross that pieces?
No, I have no idea. Maybe Mike would know.
Oh, you're talking about the contest that the
Oh yeah,
collectors put on.
yeah.
Yeah, and what is your question about that specific contest?
Yeah, I want to know, how do you feel about trends? This is a trend in NFT space at the moment. We experienced previous trends months and season ago, and I want to have your feedback about what's going on. And is it bothering you in the space to find your favorite pieces, or it's not on your feeds at all? Because wherever I see cheetahs nowadays.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I was wondering about this recently, and I figured that maybe I was the only one wondering about it. The fact that you asked this question and bring it out into the open forum, I think is very interesting. So what I see is that these contests that are being formed, they're definitely increasing engagement. They're inspiring people to create art. Some artists who haven't created anything recently, who are waiting to sell out their last NFT before they make something new, which I think is not the best way to get my attention as a collector, maybe others as well. You have to have something to look at. If you go to someone's collection and you see one NFT, there's really not a whole lot of time to spend there. If you don't love it, then you're kind of moving on to something else. I think these contests that are being put together create noise in the marketplace that then translates into some type of transaction value. However, what I also see on the flip side of that, for artists who are participating in this, it's very stressful for them because they put in everything that they can. They submit the art, in this case the cheetah or the leopard art, and what happens is that then they proceed to basically deal with a whole bunch of self-implied stress and be let down. And I for the artists who I have a dialogue with back and forth, I field these questions and these concerns, and I try to tell them that their expectations going into something like this are incorrect if this is the result of it. If they're not feeling great about what they just did, then their expectations are not aligned with their current mission of creating and being a part of a creative space. What I do see when it comes to trends is that lately there's this appetite for the one NFTs to outbid each other. Now, what's funny is I've only been in this space for 47 days. And I remember in the very first days, I would place a bid. It would start an auction going for 24 hours. And after the 24 hours, I would get the bid. And I said to myself, you know, in a way, I'd like to see some activity here. I've been to live art auctions. I've bid on art in live auctions. It's extremely exciting. Akin to, say, being at a craps table in Las Vegas or Macau, where everything is just, you know, high energy and everyone's engaged. But to place a bid on a piece of art and not have anyone else bid, I remember sending a tweet around saying, hey, could someone bid against me? Let's get some excitement going here, because I know that excitement builds sales. It always does. And you got to kind of get that going. What I see is that there's more and more of that happening, where there's almost kind of like this competition going on, where I'm not going to let you outbid me because I have a certain reputation in this space. And then there's all of this background noise going on where they say, oh, so-and-so is getting outbid. Who's this person who bid against them? It's an unknown wallet because it doesn't have a name. I see that starting to happen more than I have in any of the days. And again, I'm in this for a short period of time, but I spend a lot of time each day in this space. So I'd like to see where that goes. And as far as Twitter is concerned, I think that this is great for now. I do not see long term that this is where everything remains. And there's going to be a time when we look back and say, remember, we used to do this in Twitter. It feels like that to me. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
kind of
thank
know
you.
what you're talking about now. Like I did run this thing called crypto crash art, sort of a thing. Like if you have something in that theme, I would buy it, and it was fine. Like I felt like I made a lot of mistakes because it was my first time doing it, and I think we have to keep trying doing this. So that we learn to kind of master this, right? Like, so the next one I will do would be far more interesting, and I've been working on like an interesting collab based sort of a contest. But at the end of the day, you participate because you chose to participate, and you win because like I liked it. Like, it's as simple as that. If disappointment is a factor there, then I mean, there are enough things in life to be disappointed about, I guess. But I feel that these things are extremely exciting, and I'm totally with Mike on that. That they brought these things, bring a lot of like things are happening, right? Like what happens is in a bear market, things just stop happening, and like the whole fact that somebody is getting a bid on top, and somehow weirdly all the stuff that I bid on keeps getting bids on top of it, which is quite strange. But yeah, like this is all exciting, right? Like things are moving, right? Like the altcoin space is in a bear market. Like ETH is like going down and BTC is going down, but like there are bids coming up, and that means that people who are in this space aren't really connected with that world so much, and that's amazing. Like that's really something which is extremely unique as well. So things moving, things happening is the most exciting thing in my opinion. And imagine if nothing was happening, if things were stagnant, then people are like, well, this space is boring. Like, what do I do? So yeah, like I enjoy all of it. And what we have on Twitter is kind of unique, though it and I again with Mike, right? Like it doesn't really work for what is required, but it works well for now if one is organized. I try to be organized. Like I try to maintain a list of awesome artists. I try to not retweet stuff that I don't have to go through it. Like I might I might say stuff that I don't do it because I don't want to help anyone, but actually I'm just trying to maintain my Twitter feed, right? Like so that I can access stuff more easily, because like just like being able to see what happened at certain point, it has to be there. And I go through some artist Twitter feed, and like I'm like, oh wow, man! In like the last 5 days, this guy has done so much, and it appears that this is just the last 2 hours. I'm like, how do I even find anything in it? So, anyways, so there are good and bad. It is what it is.
Beautiful. Thanks for your answer, and thank you, host, for having me. I just moved myself down to open some space for new speakers. See you around.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Darishan. It's our honor you are here and you always, we are with us, and it's a very nice thing. And we have another friend that's, I think, Elmira, Lily, Nedajan. Nedajan, do you want to ask something? We are here to listen to you.
Hello, Magical, Paradise John, Shash, Daryush, Mana, Mike. Nice to see you again.
Thank you, Netta.
How are you? Um, I wanted to say that since we're just sharing experiences, and I do have a question, but before that, I want to say that the thing that I understood in these months that I've been joining the NFT community and also Twitter Spaces is that making your community is like finding your family. It does not mean finding people who like you or finding people who will definitely buy from you. Like, you have a family in real life and you don't like all of them. They normally do not agree with you, but they're always there for you. And when they move on in life and good things happen to them, it will be the same for you. So I think that when we say find your community, it means that find people who want you to succeed in their journey that they are succeeding, and they have that mindset that will understand that your success and their success is one. And this doesn't mean that they will be your friends. It doesn't mean that you will have to, have constant relationships with them or even like them. But it means that you could work with these people and you can succeed and have I don't know, a stronger ship on the sea. And I think that if we have that kind of mindset, it will help us maintain our integrity somewhat, and also understand that if we do what we know and stick to that at the beginning and learn on the way, then we can, be successful. It is a good way even to make connections with other artists and also other collectors. For instance, Mike, I know a bit now, the way that he thinks is different from other people. He makes a human connection with people first. Like, if he's read a book, he will tell you about it. If he sees that you're interested in something that he's interested in, even if it has nothing to do with NFTs, he will point that out to you. And he will say, like, my DMs are open. You could ask me questions. So if you put, for instance, with someone like Mike, if you just, go attack him, buy from me, well, he will hate you. Like, he will have human relationships with you if you want that, and if you understand that that is the power of this connection. Maybe he will buy from you in a year, maybe he will not, but you will have a valuable person in your life that you can ask a question, and that question will help you make sales. It doesn't have to come from Mike. It will come from somebody else, and it will help you make connections if you understand the right question. And Shash I've just met, and I haven't spoke with him ever before, but I understand that he's a very private person and he's fiercely loyal to people, and so probably loyalty and honesty are something that is important to him. So I think when you speak about making your community, you have to understand that it's not about you. It's about us, and it's about us growing together and learning to be happy for each other. And it's okay to be jealous sometimes. Jealousy is a human, it's very human to become jealous, but it is also very human to learn to control that jealousy and teach yourself that, at least to some degree, be happy for each other. So I wanted to ask Mike and Shash what they think about this. Like, when they make connections and when they speak about community, are they thinking the same things? Like, you might not be a collector of somebody, but they will be in your community. Is that correct, the way that I understood it?
Thanks, Netta. I appreciate you adding so much color to my summary answer to the question of how do I define community. I mentioned the community is the group of people who we get together and grow with and grow from. And you very eloquently explained how to do that. So thank you. When when it comes to your question, what are you looking for specifically in addition to that original question that you added color to? Can you just define that a little bit more for me, please?
Yeah, I just wanted like to for people to listen to how you choose your community, because somebody might say my community is, for instance, artists that I collect from or collectors that buy from me. That is my community. But I think for you, community is people that you value and even maybe give advice to. I just wanted you to elaborate on your community and what it means to you.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. So yes, I appreciate you mentioning how your observation of me from the time that you've known me is somewhat different. I don't start out trying to be different. What I do is I set out to try and figure out how I can both experience and grow from something that I do, and help someone else as I do that. So that at the end of my day, when I lay down to sleep, I can say to myself that I got more out of today coming out of it than I did going into it. And hopefully I've done the same for someone else. It's not that I press to make sure that I affect someone in a positive way. I kind of let the universe just kind of, dictate that to me. And when I come across somebody, I say to myself, I don't believe in coincidences. I used to, until I realized that they're just not existent. They're an illusion. Everything does happen for a reason. We do have a chance and an ability to see what that reason is if we really connect to ourselves. And if I happen to be, and Shash mentioned this, 2,300 collections. I'm trying to figure out how I would ever go through even a quarter of that, because it does take time to immerse and see. However, as he was explaining that, I thought to myself, well, whatever pieces he comes in contact with, same thing with me. There's no coincidence for that. For some reason, I'm looking at this art right now, or I'm speaking with this artist right now. And I try to make the most of that. What I find is that there's even artists who don't have anything that they currently have minted that I'm interested in. And I just say, look, this is really nice art. I could never make this art. It's not for me to purchase, though. Do you have anything else that you haven't minted yet? And I've actually purchased NFTs in the several dozen probably now to 20 or 30 of them, which were never originally listed, that I then saw and said, could you please list this? I'd like to add this to my collection. So the personal side of this really comes from someone is going to benefit from interacting with me today, and I'm going to grow by interacting with them today, just like in this space right now. And I want to do that for purpose. The purpose is to be able to grow, which goes back to my original summary answer. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, and I really like the way you put it, Neda, as well. It was super cool, right? Like, but from my end, right, like I have this concept of a like the industry as a whole, and not so much as the community, and maybe they're one and the whole same thing. But I have a serious fear that a lot of good people will not be able to survive this space the way it is, right? Like I have an issue that because I have gone through that in the altcoin space, and I've kind of really seen how these fringe technology ideas sort of work, right? Like there are so many places where errors can happen. It could be like personal data kind of going away, like what happened with OpenSea. It could be wallet hacks. There are so many things that happen that I've gone through in the altcoin space, that what I do want to do at my end is like really talk about core problems and basic things that I feel people should do. And if somebody has a better idea about it, they should do it. But I will scream at the top of my lungs, like, to anyone I can, in whatever manner I can, that hey, like there are these problems, and you need to ensure that you're not gambling on ETH or something like that, because what's happening with every artist sort of having ETH is that they have now become ETH speculators. And having some ETH is not a bad thing, or maybe it's a good thing, but that is, you need to judge that from a speculation mindset. Maybe it'll go to 4,000, maybe it'll go to 500. But being in this space long enough, I know how problematic this can be. And I've and I knew that these things, like I entered the space more seriously when ETH was at 1,000, because I know that the people who will survive have a long-term mentality. Most people will not survive, and I'm very concerned that the guys who are here, many of them will be like, oh my god, this place is such a mess, like nothing makes sense, I've lost everything I have. So try and secure yourself, right? Like what I really want is, like collectively, if people start talking like ideas which are, this place is crazy, right? So how do you do stuff which save you from getting into unnecessary trouble? Like everyone can succeed here. Like literally there'll be a plethora of investors, monies, collectors that will come into the space 1 year from now. But if you leave the space today, your right set of collectors who you'll meet at the right point of time, you will never be able to meet them because you have disappointed yourself and left. And that is a concern I share. And and really, like, this is one of the goals that I do have, is to ensure that, I understand the core principles of this transaction, right? Like when I buy something or this art from somebody, what does it mean to that person? What does it mean to me? How can I interpret it so that there is more meaning to the whole situation? And then I kind of come up with business solutions so that the sanctity of those things sort of remain. And this is what I'm trying to do. And the community around it may understand it now, may not understand it, but like the motives are maybe personal, maybe not, but it's like I need to save this industry, because one, good people leaving a place where I'm involved in is a big problem for me. Like if the industry can grow in 1 year, but it's going to take 5 years, because every time we take 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, it'll keep suffering. Like everyone will keep going out, keep coming in, and that's all I have to say on that. Like that's all I have to say on the community side of things.
Thank you. Before I drop down, I just wanted to say one thing. That is why I think we should stick. I'm speaking to the artists now. We should stick to what we know. When you want to show your work in a gallery, I mean, you go, you stay, you make connections, and out of 100 artists that are working for a gallery in a term of 5 years, I think 70% of them will not be there because they get discouraged. They're not having enough sales. I mean, they have other ways of making money and they decide, well, if I can do that, I'll do that and not suffer. So I think it's the same with the NFT spaces. We should not get discouraged. We should say we're professional artists, and nobody said it's going to be easy. Being an artist is not a cash grab. I mean, just look at it. How many artists from the beginning of time were making a lot of money? We also have our own celebrities as well. So if you decide to be an artist, it's not going to be easy, but if you stay and you persevere and you work really hard and stay true to yourself, you will succeed. It doesn't mean you'll succeed in your 20s, maybe you'll succeed in your 70s, but for sure you will succeed. And if you wanted to be something else, you could just go study and be an engineer, and in 4 years you would be that. An artist means not giving up, because if you don't do it, you'll go crazy. And I always say that we should respect people that help us, people who are there for us, and therefore collectors, and I think galleries, museum curators are very valuable for us. And I agree with you, Shash, that these people are going to come into the spaces, and everybody who is here and who has stayed, the horrible days, those people will benefit, because they will say, like, these people are the people who've been here from the beginning and we want to work with them. So I think it's very valuable what you said. And I think you're a good man, Shash. Just wanted to say that too. And thank you for your kind heart. So I'll just go down so somebody else can come. I'm Magical. I'm Paradise June. Thank you for letting me come. And I just want to say hi to Jarafiti Azizam. Hello. I'll go down now.
Hi, hi.
Yeah,
Thank you,
one second.
Nadarina.
I kind of was a little morose at that point. Like the one thing that I do want to add, right? Like literally, like, and Mike totally resonated on it before, right? Like, the space here is literally the land of opportunity. There was never before a guy from India could buy art from Iran as easily as I can right now. Like, for me, it's eye opening as to the kind of things that are possible here right now. And we all know that we're early, right? So if we are early, what's going to happen later is that everything that happens which is good is going to scale, right? So if we minimize what is wrong and what we're not comfortable with, like, the scaling will become so much better. So because I am so excited about the space, I kind of try to, keep saying these silly things which may be a bit negative or something, whatever. I don't need to scare anyone, but kind of people need to be ready for the fact that, things might be tough for a while, and I want everyone to survive. Like, that's sort of my mindset. Like, I really want everybody to be able to, because this is the first time everyone has the opportunity to really do just what they want to do. Even an artist never had this opportunity where they could just survive of what they want to do everywhere in the world. But somewhere in this world, you will find people who appreciate what you're doing, right? Like, you will be able to survive and thrive from 15 collectors all over the world. And if you can identify some of them in year one, many more in year two, you will be able to build the right community and the right set of people you reach out to. But if you're going around asking everyone here to kind of, like, support you or whatever that is, then I feel there is a bit of a disconnect there, because you don't need to survive now, like, which is fine, like, figure out your survival, but you need to thrive 2 years from now. Like, how do you get your floor prices to 50 ETH or 100 ETH 2 years from now? And if you're not planning how to do that, then you're not doing justice to the opportunity given to you. And that's the thing that I really want to say.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to say before I go down, actually, Shash, people from India are very easy to work with. The gallery that I'm working with right now is in New Delhi, and you guys are just wonderful and, thoughtful. You've got such a big heart, good history, rich culture, and thank you for caring, for sharing your concerns with all of us. So now I'll really go down. Thank you.
Thank you, Neda. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and thank you for asking such questions. But I really believe that maybe all of us can do it in maybe 30s, not 70s. I really hope so, because I really want to do what I wanted maybe sooner, not 70s. It's just some jokes. So, yeah. By the way, I myself love to do that. I myself just try to do that. I started my journey about 7 months ago, and a lot of artists like me that we started together, a lot of them are maybe some more successful than me, but it didn't happen to me. So I just tried to survive, and I just tried a lot of different kinds of methods, strategies to connect with people, to know what is community, to know what is Web3, to know what is NFTs, and a lot of such words that we are hearing all days. And after all, I just started to make these spaces to connect more with people, to talk more with people. And it is amazing because I'm just somehow celebrating today. It is the first month, and it is the 8th episode of my spaces that we are somehow celebrating with Mike and Shash today. And it is so different from other spaces that I had, because we have very different views. And yeah, I had a lot of questions myself, but we had a lot of people to ask. So I just give you the floor. By the way, guys, I wanted to hold this space just for 1 hour, and it is 1 hour and 30 minutes that we are here. I don't know if Shash and Mike don't have any problems with going on or something like that. I don't know. If you have any problems, you can just tell me. We can just schedule another space if you don't mind to speak once more about such things. It was so amazing. So yeah, please consider that, because I don't want to make some miseries for you. I know Shash, it is night for you, and I don't want to make troubles for you guys. So please let me know if you had any problems with that. By the way, let's hear Elmira, and we will go on with other people up there. Hi, Elmira.
Hi, Azizam. So, hi, Magical June, Paradise June, Shash June, Mike June, and oh my God, so happy I see many of my fam here. And I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for letting me to be speak. And honestly, I'm addicted to spaces. I'm addicted to talk with people, and I really addicted to spaces. I like chilling myself, and also more than chilling, I like these spaces. They are not about chilling because I think it's not a space anymore. It's like a classroom for me, and I really like going to free classroom. Amazing. And really, thank you. I just want to, share something I learned in my journey, in my smart journey with you, if it's okay. And, that I learned is that don't shy. Don't shy to anything. I mean, honestly, English is not my main language, and I'm learning English by myself. And sometimes, even on this space, I barely understand what people talking about that or in chat room. But I don't shy. I learned to don't shy to ask pardon me, or I don't get that, or repeat for me, please. And I just invite people to do that because it's really make you to grow up. And I think for me, by the way, community means connection and make friends. And I think it's kind of another art. So I'm a painter, and the only art for me is not just colors and painting. How connect to people is kind of art, and I'm learning that in the spaces, in make friends, in many things. And I just want to say that because uh, you know just for me, I don't like when I think it's not good when some people say, oh, I can't speak well English, or I don't know English. Because I'm say, and even with my journey with my painting, also I'm practicing with my English. And I think everyone else should do that. And I just want to say that. And I have many questions of dear Shash and dear Mike, but there is no time. So I just want to say that, and thank you. Thanks a million, guys. Love you all.
Thanks, Almira.
I think that we're all here to answer questions, so you can ask at least one from either of us if you'd like.
Thank you. Already I think I don't have any question right now because thank you. Please don't laugh at me because I got some answers. Oh my God, why did I say that? As I told you, my English is not good, so forget that. Just I'm so happy to be
No
here.
problem, Elmira. It is just chit chatting. Oh my God. Thank you for coming and joining and somehow collaborating with me, because I didn't want it to be alone in my spaces, and you guys just make it so easier for me
You
by
are not
chatting
alone.
here.
You are not
Thank
alone,
you.
Harriet. We are here. We are both, all of us together. And I am so happy today. It is a very nice space, nice conversation. And I see too much lovely friends here. And when I start my journey, they are with me. And now today in our space, they are with me. And this is for me, it's a really that I feel I am in the right way. I am in the real nice communicate. And I want to say something to dear Shash because I have too much friend from India and too much friend in NFT artists in India. And some one day some of them say me something that they make something like as a NFT Namaste in the Indian community. And I'm thinking too much about this. What is the NFT Namaste? And I try to do it with myself in with my journey to be in the peace with all of the people and we be peace in myself. And it is a very nice thing that we are in the peaceful space today. And thank you, Elmira Jan, to come with us.
Oh, there was
Okay,
a question
thank
about
you.
Namaste India. I think Namaste India was an event that was organized there, which was like a bunch of people got together. They invited all the NFT artists from India, and they organized something for the first time, which had never happened. And I think if these things keep happening, then more and more artists will be able to kind of be on various platforms and be able to kind of enter the space in a much more easier manner where they can meet like-minded people who can explain to them what's happening. And I think once you meet people and you share ideas, it's even better than what we do sometimes online, because it has a different type of a memory, a different type of an experience. And I think Namaste India was an interesting thing, and I think things will improve, and events will keep becoming better and better as things improve as well.
That is awesome to know. Thank you.
Yeah, it was IRL event in India that was just before, I think, uh, Gary Vee's conference. They just held, I think, 2 days it was. I had this chat with Leslie, actually, the first space that I held. She was there and she talked about this because I asked her. And yeah, it was very amazing IRL event that people from all around the world they just joined this event, and some of them went there like NFT NYC, and it was a very nice event in India that was held. Thank you for asking. And we have Necro here. Hi, Necro.
Hello, guys. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you. How about
I
you?
I see a lot of people here. Mike and Shash,
What's up, Necro?
Mana parties, Graffiti. Hello, guys. It's first time actually to talk to Shash. So first time that I'm connecting with you, man. I started with the comment that you said about your name. So your name, it means weed in my state, man. So don't worry. And yeah, actually, I have a question. I know kind of response of Mike, but I don't know yours, Shash. So as a collector, what do you prefer to see from an artist? You prefer to see the artist from the value that he have right now in the market, so you can get the piece and you can trade it for later, to get uh, even a profit from it. So I'm saying from a perspective of profit, or when you collect from an artist, you see it from the effort and time and talent that he have shown on the piece.
So it's both actually for me. I would, if it's pure investment that I feel that it's good for, I would buy it, and I don't need to have a personal connection with the piece. But like I said, I haven't really bought an NFT yet, which I feel is an investment. Though some of them that I selected just for myself, for like personal interest, might be quite valuable, because I evaluated it much after I bought them, and I kind of feel that the stuff that I've been buying for my collection quite a bit is something that really does speak to me first, and then if the price is right, the artist is like, I think, who will survive the space a bit. I feel that, the kind of like brand that artists have kind of created around themselves is of quality, or I just want to kind of gamble on somebody. I do end up taking my chance depending on what it costs me and how much I really like the piece and what it means to me. So yeah, like if I'm going to spend big money, I need to not be too attached to the piece sometimes, because I know I will have to part with it. And if I'm spending like small amounts, like whatever, like 1 ETH, 2 ETH, or small amount smaller than that, then it's just something that I'm buying because I find it quite quite passionate. And sometimes what happens is that I buy the piece and I pay for the physical piece and shipping separately, so it adds up to become quite a bit as well. But I still, like, it's just because I think it's kind of weird to have an NFT that has a physical piece and separating the two at all. Like I think that NFT acts like a certificate of ownership for the particular art piece. So like having possession of it is not a bad idea in my opinion. I hope that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, I want to hear from Mike, and after I will tell to you my opinion too. So yeah,
Sure. Necro, can you give me can you
repeat.
mention there? Yeah, repeat
Yeah,
that for
yes.
me, please.
So when you're going to collect, you see the artist as the value of his name first, so you can have a profit perspective in the future from him, or you see how much effort and work and the amount of talent that he have put it on that piece. Which one is first for you?
Yeah, so for the so we know that the algorithms on Twitter, and that's where I spend a lot of my time here, and then on the platforms, it returns to you more of what you look at. So someone once said to me, Mike, it seems like you are only a collector of portraits. And I said, well, that's interesting because that happens to be what I see a lot of right now. But if all of a sudden I started to see something of a completely different subject, I'd probably look like I'm only a collector for those subjects. I think that the first and foremost, what I do is I look at whatever comes across my way. And from that, I gauge whether or not it's resonating with me. If it doesn't resonate with me, I can still like it. If it doesn't resonate with me, I'm not going to buy it. Because when I buy these NFTs, I'm not buying them from a business standpoint because I know that I'm going to be able to turn it and get my money back or make a profit. I'm buying it first and foremost because it resonates with me, and resonance is truth. So if something resonates and it's truth, then it's always going to resonate with me. Therefore, I don't care if I ever sell it because I can take the art that, let's say, no one ever bids on anything in my collection and I never sell anything through the online platforms, OpenSea Foundation, what have you. To me, there's a limitless amount of ways to make money with that art. For one example, I could actually either in any of my engagements or my businesses that have the ability to print artwork on a product that sells through distribution, there could be many channels to do that. So I'm never going to worry about, am I going to sell this? Because just like Shash said earlier, I'm not committing massive amounts of money to any one piece of art. So it doesn't require that next level of analysis that's going to determine, well, okay, if I spend $200 to $500 for an NFT, that's one thing. If I'm going to spend $5,000 to $20,000 for an NFT, I'm going to have to do some other work and due diligence for that. But always I look at what's in front of me, I look at how it resonates, and then from there I move on. When I look at the reverse and I start with the artist and who they are and how much of a mass following they have, or how was the highest price that they've ever sold an NFT for, I kind of feel like it doesn't resonate with me as much. And I think the reason why is because there's not a whole lot that I can really do for that artist as I can with an artist that maybe never sold anything before. Or maybe they're selling, but they're trying to figure out how to navigate through their mind and their heart tearing apart each other, and at the same time create and sell something. So I think I look at more of the early creator than the established one.
Actually, bro, you didn't surprise me because I know your answer. And now I know your character. And Shash, I respect your opinion too. I want to tell to you, both of you guys, that everyone is right on every single thing you think, because in the end of the day, it's about resonating with something or not. I would say something that if the artist, because this question actually, both of these perspectives that I told you go with each other. Because if the artist is talented, one, he puts a high effort on his work. Two, he spends a lot of time on every single detail in the work. His name is gonna be worth it in the future. It is inevitable. So that's why I said that you see this perspective or the other one. Actually, each perspective that you may see, believe me, it goes both ways. And the one that have the talent, it's gonna have the name valuable too. Well, I know there are some exceptions, but in my opinion, that's how it works in all the times. And Mike, appreciate your response, and please, I can tell to you right now, get ready that because I will bomb you with this kind of questions when the time comes in the art divan space, because you will be the invited collector. Mariam told me, so yeah, we will have this kind of conversation. So thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for
Yeah, I
responding.
appreciate that. I really do enjoy the spaces where I'm challenged with questions, because, like I said earlier, I'm looking to grow too, and through this we can all grow and we can all help each other grow. And it's funny because there's so much discussion that weaves in and out of these spaces that talk about community, and I'd like to mention that we should never shy away from contrast. I know that it's so much more pleasurable to be around like-mindedness, people who agree, just as much as it's great to be in a bull market versus a bear market. But a bear market is where we learn and grow. We come up with new innovative ways to exist and participate, just as a bear market is contrast to a bull market. Dissonance in opinions different than your own is the contrast that helps you understand what you may not be looking at, what you may not know, and how to grow from that. We will grow faster when we embrace bear market versus bull market. We will grow faster when we embrace contrast from the fellow person who's next to us, instead of just refusing, putting our hand up in front of them, or walking or running away. We will grow faster from that. We have to dare ourselves to do it. And if we encourage each other and dare ourselves to do it, and we all grow more, how much more could we all be? How much more could we all have? So thank you for that.
Yeah,
Thank
just
you, Mike,
a sec.
very much.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
I think, Mike, that was super good. I'm sorry. I can wait.
No. It's I wanted to say to you the same thing, because I want to explore in your kind of perspective too, Shash, because yeah, I am a hard type, and it's hard to connect with me, but I have something. I hear you in the first three or four words that you would say, and that determines me if I want to connect with you or not. And you are one of them that I want to connect, and I want to explore your kind of perspective, how you see the art. So I'm gonna talk to Mariam, so to make you the, if you accept and you agree, of course, the next collector to interview and to ask for the next spaces too. So yeah.
Oh my God, Necro,
Yeah.
don't do that, please. Just make connections with me as well. Oh my God.
I I have to say
Okay, I was
something.
just kidding.
I have to say something. With me, that doesn't work always. The beautiful artwork that you may show, because I know that we can create beautifully, But you know what is better? Better it's what kind of soul we have, what kind of perspective we have, and what kind of uh, talking we have. Because if we are not decent in talking and in character, then we will not have the right balance of what we show as an artwork and what we say as a person, you know? So yeah, that's why I said that.
Shash, you were about to say something, and then I just wanted to continue on one thing.
Yeah, and I think it's okay for me to say we about you and me here is that, you know, we'll be evolving quite a bit because I've seen so many artists and I've seen their collections and I've seen what they've done over time and I've seen the evolution in their work, and it's not hard to notice many a times. And you can, even in his little journey, like Mike would have seen a lot of improvement in just a handful of artists as well. and and I kind of feel that that same applies to us, right? Like what I have as my sort of mentality right now, I am more than open to change and kind of uh like understand what's happening better. And I think we will all evolve and become better from here. Like at the end of the day, what we like, what we need to spend time on, what we want our collection to be, I think these are a lot in flux. But that said, we are super confident what we do is because we need to have extremely strong beliefs to be doing what we're doing. We are spending our hard-earned money as well as time to do what we do. So if we don't believe in it, then it really isn't fun anymore, right? Like, so I don't know if I used we there correctly, but this totally applies to me for sure, and I'm assuming it does to you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that my perspective, I don't sit around and figure out what I'm going to say. I truly just speak from what resonates with me. I wasn't always able to convey what I felt. It took some time to figure out how. But what I can say is that every one of us has the ability in our own way to convey the same source of information and energy and resonance. We all do. Some of us will say it through words, some of us will say it through art, some of us will be good at coming out first and saying something. Other people will only be good at responding to something, but this is how we all work together. I try to remind people just again to embrace the differences, embrace what is causing you stress, because the reason why you're having the stress is because you're trying to fight what is naturally trying to flow. We can really make it this more pleasurable than it seems to be.
Yeah, I'm with you. Maybe we can take some questions really quickly because I think I have to go in less than 15 minutes.
Yeah, before we go on with you guys, I feel a little raggy. Maybe we can just hold the second part of this space another day if Mike, Necro, Shash, and other people here doesn't have any problems, because I don't want to interrupt this lovely conversation. And I myself had a lot of questions. So what do you think? Please give me some feedbacks.
Actually, I want to step down because I think I took a lot of time. And if I start with the questions and go deep and deep and deep in advance, we will not end the space until tomorrow. So I better go down and leave the time for the other speakers to make the questions. And thank you very much for having me up here to make the question.
Thank you, Nekro. Maybe for the next session, you can just join us as well. So we will have a lot of nice chat again. And Shash and Mike, what do you think? Can we have the same space maybe another day? Because I mostly hold my spaces on Saturdays and Wednesdays, as I told you. What do you think? Is it possible for you?
I usually kind of play it by ear. I keep a schedule open. I really don't. I really don't do well with too much structure of a calendar. But if I can make it, I'll certainly stop by.
Thank you, thank
I
you.
think
And
let's
Trash?
make the most of it today. Um, that'll be ideal because, like, at the end of the day, like, it's little hectic at my end right now, and yeah, like the next couple of weeks is a bit over the top crazy at my end. So I'm actually not gonna be doing much speaking on spaces at all. I would be just listening as a radio, if at all. So yeah.
Okay, then we will go on. I hope that I don't get right. So, guys, let's start. Okay, Mana, go on, and we will hear Negar, Nargis, and Lily.
Hello,
Mana?
Perry. Yeah. Hello, do you have my voice? Sound? Do you hear me?
Yeah, a little raggy, but go on.
No, it's everything is okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay,
Hello,
then it is me.
okay. Hello to Paria, Paradis, and Shash and Mike, and everybody. Actually, there are lots of fam and friends in the room, and I don't want to take your time by saying all the names. I'm sorry for that, that I don't name you. I'm happy to speak with you, and thank you, Paria, for the and Paradis for the nice chat and the nice opportunity. Actually, I think it was very great and friendly. I learned a lot from your saying what Shash explained about his journey through years to come to the NFT space, and also what Mike explained about the growth in NFT space, and that the fact that everything happens for a reason. Actually, I had experienced the same, and for me personally, I think there are lots of things that day by day I understand about my character, about the way I can communicate with others, and many things that of course I cannot explain here. It's no time for that, but there are lots of lessons, I think. And I think it's like a gallery that we are every day we are seeing lots of different arts and these kinds of things. So my question, of course, is regarding the same thing. Of course, you both, Mike and Shash, explained somehow regarding how you choose the art. But I have another, of course, from another point of view. For example, Mike, you mentioned that, of course, artists should be wise regarding the time that they spend for their art. Because it should be profitable for them as well. But do you have any, for example, preference regarding the, physical arts or digital arts, or something regarding the uniqueness of the art? Because I understood that you said that it should resonate with you. Both of you said the same, but and I know that you are somehow different collectors. Not, I mean, some other collectors, I mean, maybe follow the trends more. But I'm asking this question because I see there are lots of actually similar styles and similar artworks in the NFT that are actually maybe they are trending and they are selling very well. But some others are more unique regarding the idea, regarding the way they present their idea. Is it really important for you when you want to select an art, or no? Or you just, for example, want to like the artwork? Thank you very much for answering my question.
Go ahead, Shash.
Yeah, I think it kind of remains the same for me. Like, yeah, I just look for stuff that resonates with me right now. Like, if I'm collecting stuff that it's gonna be with me for a while and mean something to me, that's that it's actually a pretty interesting process just for me, and it's really like the journey I'm having. So yeah, like, but again, like from the investment side, it's like a completely different angle as well. So I'm looking at both, right? Like I'm looking at artists that will become big from an investment perspective, and then some of the works of singular artists, like which I may or may not resonate with all the works, one individual piece might stick out for me, and this has happened so many times that yeah, I think it's not very fixed right now, at least for me, right? Like I am still quite deep in understanding my own taste here right now, uh and I think I don't want to hurry up this process either, because I'm really having a ball doing what I'm doing. I really enjoy the process.
So, Mana, you asked what is the reason to collect, and you mentioned about the trends as well. I would say that a trend is interesting to me. I like to think about why trends occur. It's a phenomenon that really makes me curious. Why does this trend happen today versus some other trend happening another day? It really all ties back to the human psychology and the way that we react as people to each other and whatever stimulus is in front of us to react to. I personally do not really take it farther than that on the trends. I'm not interested in investing or buying a trend. Like Shash said, I'm not really even sure that what I'm doing is investing quite yet in the space. But I don't like to chase anything. I believe that I could, from a business standpoint, with creating and building and distributing brands over the years of various channels, I believe that I can start my own trends. But we can't ignore what seems to be a trend in the marketplace, because we're all getting affected by it in one way or another, whether we like it or not. So it's not good to ever turn away and ignore it, but I don't particularly ever chase any trends. I hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you very much for both of your answers, Shash and Mike. Thank you very much, and thank you for the time, Paria and Paradis. And actually, this space was really unique. I think you all know, and I hope that they said that Shash said that he is busy, but I hope in future, once again, it would be an space like that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Actually, guys, I make some YouTube videos mostly from my spaces. So for those who have some barriers with English, you can just go on there and use subtitles, because I added some subtitles, auto subtitles there. So you can easily use the spaces some days after I held them. And thank you for the questions. But as Shash and Mike, you just mentioning about resonating, I had a little question for myself. Sorry. You know, sometimes there is a story behind some arts, and sometimes I don't know. All of us are a human being, and sometimes we can't understand the art for at the first glance, and we need to know the artist's view or the story behind that. And after that, all the things just changed for us as we are talking together, and it is just changing. You know, the way that I saw Shash and Mike maybe before, it is just changing after I started making some connections with you. And this is happening for the art as well. How do you just feel about that part? Because we cannot understand it by first glance, as you were talking about resonating and resonating.
You want to go first, Mike?
Yeah, sure. So resonance is energy. Everything is energy, but we need to also be able to either tap into certain energies or listened to certain energies. And I think resonance is so important because we really do get affected by what resonates with us or does not resonate with us all day long, every day of our entire life. And we also manifest our reality based on the result of what does and does not resonate. So I think it's a matter of really turning into the awareness of what that resonance might mean to us. And it may change from day to day as we grow. We were talking about growing earlier. As we grow, what resonates with us may evolve. It may change, just like our taste every 5, 6, 7 years of what we like to eat and consume changes. So we need to be in touch with that awareness. Once we're in touch with that awareness, then we could, I equate it to holding on to the steering wheel as you're driving the car. You can keep your hands off, and maybe you don't have a car that drives itself. The car will move until it hits something and doesn't move anymore. That's not really called driving, but technically you're in a car and it's driving. So who's driving us? Are we driving ourselves by being aware of everything that is coming into our reality and consciousness? And are we using that to help make better decisions for ourselves and others? I think when we start to do that, and I do see more and more, the post-COVID experience is that we all, in one way or another, whether we realize it or not, have awakened awareness to things that we didn't have before that. And I think that's what we're seeing in these new spaces like NFT.
Oh my God, Mike, you have very unique and very specific, I don't know how to discuss it, a very detailed vision. I really love that. Thank you.
I
And Shash?
spent 2 years during COVID thinking a lot. So I guess that's what the result of it is.
Yeah. As well as you are mentioning that you are in this space for 47 days, and I see that you remember the date. I can see how you are looking deeply into such things. Thank you. And Shash?
Yeah, I find Mike's perspective super interesting, and there is a lot of value in the way he thinks as well. Uh, for my side right now, like I just spend I look at any art piece that I want to kind of spend time on as a puzzle. Like here's a puzzle presented to me. Now that puzzle could be, and it's presented to me for solving it. Like that's the way I see it. So either it means something to me from my past, or it is something that I'm going to solve and make a story about it. And if I see a lot of stories in it, if I see like something is being said in it which I find fascinating, then I will be far more interested in it. But then again, like if I can't solve it and the way I solve it is semi decent, and like the artist's interpretation is way better, then I'm even more excited about it. But uh, I just don't want to hear the artist's version of it first initially, is uh, because knowing that eventually at some point of time is far more fun for me. So that like that time that this puzzle was created in, the time that was spent on making it, I have done justice in solving it in my head. And that's why, like, if you read, like, I have a bunch of these art features of the day. I never read anything. I don't even read the title first. Like, I make my own stories. And a lot of stories that I've made have nothing to do with what the artist wanted to do. But that's the way I felt about it. And that's what means to me. And that's my way of, as Mike said, resonating with the piece. And of course, like, we all need to resonate. It's just that one finds one way of doing it and the other person finds another way of doing it. And I think, like, so far what I've been doing, I've been extremely excited about doing this. I like really looking at many pieces and kind of working around it in my head and kind of coming up with ideas and doing stuff. Like, I put myself as the creator, though I am the viewer, and then I'm kind of creating stories around it, which is like a process which is fun for me. Like, this is the way I see things now. Hopefully it will evolve. Hopefully it'll become more efficient. Hopefully it'll become even more fun. And that's my way of surviving in this space as well, right? Like, it's a mixture of both. I may then look at the piece and then decide to buy it. That's the second part, and that's when I would look at it from an perspective of like, is the value fine? What do I want to do with it? Does it look, like what it means to me and what it is from an investment perspective? That comes much later. But the first thing is just like this time spent with the art side of things and kind of solving it in my head. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Puzzles are always exciting, and it was a very interesting view. Thank you, Shash, for sharing. I'm just in so rush because it is almost midnight for you, as I know. Okay, Nargis, go on, and we will have Lily afterward. Hi, Nargis.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Paria June, Paradise June, and hello dear Shash. And oh my God, I'm really happy to see you, Mike, from the last year space that you had been talking about a vibration frequency. That's kind of a very inspiration for me, and I'm happy to see you again here. And
Thank
hello
you,
to the
Nargis.
Ah, yes, merci. And hello to Sid dear, Sid Mariam, and Senor, Senor Yuba. I'm really happy to see you. So, my question is that, maybe some NFT arts are kind of trend in Web3. But for me, that I have a architecture background, maybe it's kind of difficult to having a good community that understand my perspective, because I've been designing virtual and imaginary world building that put my soul, my perspective, my vision into it, that inspired of universe, galaxy, architectural building, inspired of cyber and futuristic city, philosophy, I don't know, metaphysics and literature, that I merged them as a roadmap, and I want to curate my imaginary world that everything um, um, could could possible to happen. But I don't know how to find a community that understand my perspective and maybe want to having my collection, or love to or like my NFT art, to understand my NFT. So it's really my challenging question. Thank you. Oh, so do you hear me?
Am I right?
No, I heard you.
I
No.
see a heartbeat from you, Mike. What is happening?
Yeah, so the question, there were a lot of parts to that question. Can you summarize that for us, Nargis, please?
Yeah, for sure. I said I'm designing lots of virtual world building that include lots of architectural building and mixed with a space and universe. I really want to find good community that understand and like my NFTs art. Maybe in future they want to collect my NFTs. I don't know how to find these kind of community to understand my NFT art style. I don't know, how do I find that?
Yeah, I think that you may be a little ahead of your time, and I've seen this in different parts of this community as it's developing and growing. So you mentioned that you're doing architectural drawings and art, and as you're saying that, because I always have my antenna up to try and figure out more of what needs to be understood in this space, it occurred to me that um, to be able to buy plans, architectural plans to build something, whether it's an office building or a house or some type of building or construction in the community, to be able to have an NFT that is or maybe a selection of NFTs from a certain builder. If a certain builder has designs, instead of only agreeing to build their own designs, they may then go out and probably for large sums of money, depending on what it is, sell an NFT that has all of the different pre-approved schematics and structural designs that are required in order to build something. So I'm actually seeing through a little bit of light through the darkness of where utility might become for something that you're talking about. And that's why, going back, I think it may be just a little bit ahead of the time where if you were to produce those, then how do we get people to actually use them? And I think that, you know, all sides of the equation in this community and the usage of NFTs in our daily lives, it has to catch up and get there. I don't know. Hopefully that helps.
Actually, she got right, but I think she would come back and listen to the record. And Shash, do you want to say something to her? Okay, she's
Yeah, I
here.
mean, I just wanted to add, like, metaverse is supposedly going to be like a 8 to 13 trillion dollar industry by 2030. Like, I've read a pretty extensive report on it, and we're still trying to figure out what this metaverse is going to be. So, like, just doing something with a vision and keeping in mind, you know, to figure out what's going to happen, all these 3D artworks, etc., will come in very, very handy, because at the end of the day, when you have your avatars, when you build your homes, you're looking for all these designs and stuff to do within the metaverse. And where will they find these artists? And here they are. And of course, it'll all be linked with the blockchain. Even if it is not, like, somewhere or the other, the owner would be able to use the design or something like that. So, kind of like, this is, like Mike said, it's a bit of a long shot, but definitely something to keep an eye on and figure out if there is a potential to get involved. And again, like, this is one of those things where you do something you're passionate about, but you might find result over time, because you were dedicated and you were there. You might get the first opportunity to be involved in the right areas, but then, like, again, like, there is that if in it, but that opportunity will become big, right? I've been working with a bunch of early stage metaverse projects at a very deep level, helping them with technology, helping them with outreach, helping them with a lot of different things. And I know that things are happening in this space, and a lot of interesting concepts are coming in the crypto side of things as well. So, like, keeping that in mind, all these design, and I've been making a list of all the architectural sort of NFT and design makers that I can find, so that, you know, when I need to kind of reach out to them for that, I would be able to do it myself. So yeah, I mean, I would say that right now, nobody has the answers. I've spoken to the people who are building the biggest metaverse in the crypto space, at least, right? And, like, they're doing it, but, like, how will people be using it, etc.? Like, a lot of it is just like open world. Anyways, this is not going in the right direction of this chat, but yeah, maybe continue doing what she's doing is not a bad idea.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Nargis. We want to say.
Yes, thank you for your advice. Unfortunately, my internet connection was cut and I couldn't hear Mike's speech,
No
unfortunately.
problem, honey. You can go on with the record one.
Yes, yes, for sure.
Okay, thank you, thank you. And so quickly, let's go to Lily. Hi, Lily.
Hi, Hayajan. Hi, Padis. Hi, Shash. Hi, Mike. And hi, everyone. Such a beautiful souls are here. All of my friends are here. And I'm very glad to hear in your space, Hayajan. I'm very happy for you. And I really admire you for this great space. Thank you so much. Uh, Actually, I came up to at first say hello to you and talk about my experiences, and I have a question. Yeah, at first, I just want to mention about experiences. Actually, I've been in NFT since 1 year ago, and I tried many ways in this community because when I joined to NFT, it was very new and nobody knows about NFT about 1 year ago, and I had many mistakes because nobody was help me, and I tried to learn all of the tips and tricks by myself and with the help of my community. And I figured out a couple months ago that I shouldn't waste all of my time in all the shield spaces. It doesn't work for artists, and it really hurt our mental health, because you have many stress to be accepted by hosts, and you have many stress to what I should say, or what is my story, write about my story and tell everyone about my story, my artwork story. And I think it doesn't work because we are still human, we are still human being, and we can just chill with each other, just talk with other, and just communicate each other, because Web3 is a great place to engage with others, to learn about many cultures, to communicate with many people from different cultures and with many different behaviors. And I think it's really interesting because after a while I decide to join to chilling and hangout spaces or art talk spaces and started to communicate with others. I don't say that I'm a successful artist because I'm not, but I really feel calm now because I don't have any stress anymore. I can um, speak with my friends in many spaces, just calm, speak about different topics, and it's really amazing for me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I sell anything or not. I just love to communicate with others and laugh with others, cry with others, and this is my roadmap, my new roadmap, I think. Yeah, it was my experience that I wanted to share with you guys. And I have a question since a few days ago until now for collectors. Uh, mm, is quantity of artworks in artist's profile important for collectors or not? This is a very important question for me because sometimes I think that we should put a little artworks in our profiles and put them slow, but sometimes I feel the variety of artworks and the quantity in profiles maybe has more affection on collector's vision. This is my main question. If you help me in this way, I will be really appreciate.
I think Mike will be much better at answering this one. I have just a small point to it, which is like just do what you think is right, and if it is not working for you, change it. Like at the end of the day, you have to make your decisions by trial and error of what works for you, and at the end of the day, like the moment you will learn and things improve when you change it or they don't, then you kind of have learned something here, because the more you will do learn by hit and trial here, the more experience you will have, and the more you'll be able to improve things at every level. So the question is about like the number of pieces, the second question is about pricing, the third question is about marketing. There are so many questions out there which everyone is asking on a daily basis. the thing is that experiment with it. Like, don't take anything for gospel. In my opinion, things will change drastically. Maybe putting low price is not attracting a certain investor or collector. Maybe putting a high price isn't attracting one. But if you know which is the collector whose collection you want to be a part of, then possibly having a conversation with them, like what they are looking for from you, or if you're fit for them, and if that happens, then maybe understanding that. And the more you'll talk to your consumer base, right, like the more information you will have. uh, and that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. I try to, Lily, I try to remind artists that we need to make sure that we understand why someone would collect what we're creating. It really goes down to sales 101. To sell something requires satisfying certain needs. And this is for everyone. I'm not making this up. I learned this. Um, in order to exchange goods and services for money, currency, there has to be some wants and needs that we can satisfy so that that exchange is done. And if it's done well, then both parties will be happy and feel like they've accomplished something. It's really the question that we have to ask ourselves. Why would someone collect what I'm making? And then, like Shash said, engage. Engage with the community, engage with other artists, engage with collectors, and engage with yourself, because we all have the ability to appreciate something that we see, and we all have the ability at one point or another to actually buy something and collect something. So let's ask ourselves and try to answer all sides of the equation so that we are the best suited to actually succeed.
Yeah, really, really quickly on that one, right? Like, there are so many other ways that you can attract people's attention, or just like build a relationship, right? Like, we have Sherry down there in the listener panel, and I'm a really big fan of her work, and I've collected a bunch of her pieces because they just feel perfect for me. And they remind me of some stuff that I like to have, this kind of a version of it. And I had put like one of those images in my Twitter banner, and she really created a much nicer version of it. And she's like, like, maybe this will be nice. And I kind of felt that this is such a small thing, but it's such a big thing, right? Like, the artist just use a piece of the art that I had purchased, and this you can do to collectors, to things that you have made. And like, just build a relationship there. And it's not about doing things for other, but it's just like there are so many ways that this approach can be taken place if you really want to go out to somebody. And maybe Mike and me aren't even the guys you inspire or aspire to have your collection with. Maybe there is an actor or like a celebrity who you really like, so kind of really working your heads around, like, how can that person have your art with them one way or the other, like keeping that in the back of your heads. Because if you don't keep it in the back of your head, the opportunity will pass you by and you won't even realize it. But like, if you really wish for something, it many a times happens, right? So like, that's like the thing that I would like to say, that there are many, many, many ways that you can do so many more creative things to be able to really establish yourself as somebody who's uh, cares just a little more, is taking that initiative to do things just a little more. And that's all that it takes. It doesn't take way more. Like, you don't have to do a daily process of things. It's just like one step thinking ahead of like what you are used to doing, because you're replacing galleries now. The 25-40% that used to go to galleries is all with you now, and you're making rewards on when the product is sold further, right? Like, you have a very good opportunity with what can happen with your art. So like, thinking out of the box and figuring out is really like what this space is meant to be. Because if you think about something and think about it out of the box, and somebody else copies it, they will, because it's a good idea. You are the trendsetter. You are the ones that are coming up with creative ideas to market yourself, and this is the land where this can work, right? Like, you don't have to really follow anything that's out there, and really go out and come up with your own solutions to solve your own sort of outreach and marketing, and color, get your brand out there. And maybe some of these ideas will fail, maybe you try 50 things and only 5 of them will work, but just trying one and failing and being like, my stuff doesn't work, may not be the right solution at this moment. Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. I mean, let's go back some years and remind ourselves that in order to see a movie, we used to have to wait for someone to create it, finish it, and then have it be at a movie theater that was near us, and then we go buy a ticket and watch the movie. And now we can stream things on demand. Look at what Apple did to the music business. We used to have to wait to hear something on the radio, and if we wanted to hear that again, we would have to go and buy the album. And if we really only liked one song on that album, we'd have to buy the whole album. And if we didn't have the money to buy the album, we'd have to see if someone we knew had it. And then everything just goes to whatever song you want, or you can have a streaming service send you songs that you like, and you custom tailor it. Now it's happening all over again, just like those two examples. It's happening with art. And there's going to be utility that goes along with this, and it's going to take this to levels that we can't even understand right now. And again, I'm going to say we're pioneers in this space because we're here for it. We're daring enough to be here when no one really knows what's going on. Our collective consciousness is going to form this space going forward. So, like Shash was saying, we have to understand that there's so many different ways to do this. Let's not just stop at the first way and say we're a failure. We have to understand that we are the trendsetters, like he said so appropriately as well. We have to believe these things. If we believe them, then they become. And I've spoken to some artists about how we manifest our reality every single day, whether we realize it or not. So we can actually manifest attracting interested parties in what we're doing. We can manifest anything that we want. It's something we have to relearn. We already know how to do it. We just kind of forgot how to remember to do it, if that makes any sense. And when we remember how to do what we come pre-wired to do, which is manifest our reality, we'll find that we really can have the life that we want because we're creating it for ourselves, the trendsetter, like you said.
Yeah, like just one more cent on that. Like, the truth of the matter is that artists in general are quite sentimental people, right? Like, I have realized that quite a bit now. So, like, it is extremely important that that there is this little space in your head where you are learning and developing these small skills to sort of, like, like, have a slight business marketing mind to it. And like, there is no easy way out of it. It requires at times the kind of dedication you're giving to your art. It requires that kind of creative thinking at the same time. And like, the space can be very, very harsh, right? Like, that's something I'm quite concerned about. If it doesn't sound from my previous statements, that a lot of people will leave because things will get tough and people will get harsh and things will get really hard as well. But, like, keep that in the back of your head. Look at the big picture. It's very important to be focused on what you will be, where you will be, how you will be in the next 2 years. What you're going through now has to become so irrelevant, and you really need to have extreme belief and hope, and then there is a much bigger chance for you to win. Yeah, that's so weird for me to say, but yeah, sorry. Can we take a couple of more questions? Arijit, do you have a question?
Yeah, hi.
Okay, go on, Arijit.
Yeah, sorry. Shash, I don't know. Is it you that I communicated with yesterday?
Yeah, it's
Actually,
me.
so
It's me.
okay. Okay, so I just came here to say sorry and thank you, because Lily just said a very important thing a few minutes back, and you also just said something just now, that Lily said that people have to have a good soul. So that's first thing. And you said another point just right now, that artists are generally sentimental. So I am a person who generally speaks out my mind openly. So my question to you will be that should I change that? Should I change the way I speak, or because people, it may come out arrogant to some of the collectors who is trying to collect for me. So should I change myself, or because I am 45-year-old, and you can understand that at this age it is very difficult to change myself. So that would be my question to you, if you can just give the answer.
I think a smart collector can see through rudeness, egoistical behaviors, crazy attitudes of people. If you're smart, you would not. It wouldn't bother you, right? Like I really don't bother about somebody who's brash or something. Like if that person has art, maybe sometimes just being arrogant is a way to save time, which is extremely important as well. So if you are in a certain way, this space will allow you to be yourself, and this is an opportunity you have. And yeah, like that's the way I see it. Mike, over to you.
Sure. Let me ask you a question. Are you good in truth with how you speak?
I try to speak the truth always. That's why I speak out my mind in general, and my family members also complain about that. That I generally speak out the truth, which I shouldn't do when I am in a marketplace where money is involved. So here also, I am right now speaking out my mind actually. So that's the thing.
Yeah, if you're good with yourself unconditionally, then there's no reason to change anything unless you want to. Like that's just the truth. If you're unconditionally good with, in other words, unconditionally good with how you speak means no matter what the reaction is from people. If you're being sincere, if you're speaking from the heart, if you're attempting to be as genuine as possible and it comes out the way that it does because that's you, and you're good with whatever reaction you get, then there's nothing to change. If you change, then what you're doing is that you're stepping away from truth and you're being something that someone else sees you as, and you're getting caught up in dogma and all this other stuff. Then who are you? You may not be able to answer that question at that point. I think it's important to understand who you are, what you're here to do, and then just be. Because if we all just be who we are, then we all get to know who each other is, and then we can all really figure out what we're doing in truth rather than all this other nonsense that happens in society. That's just my opinion.
Oh, Mike, that was so awesome. That was really, really cool. And I totally agree with you. And that was really well put.
Thank you. You guys inspire me to say what I say. I can't speak like this when I'm sitting in my room alone trying to figure out what I'm going to do. But these spaces are inspiring, and I follow the advice that I just gave, and I hope that others could find some resonance in that, because I'm not here to just be heard. I'm here to pass the baton on to anyone who's willing to take it, so that we can all grow.
Of you. Sorry, guys. I was just kicked out by Twitter once more, and thank God that we didn't rug again. But I cannot accept you anymore. Really sorry for that. I didn't just expected that, but really sorry. We will have some spaces like this, and I will ask Shash and Mike to join us. Maybe they can just do it again for us in the future. But just come and make your connections maybe in the next spaces, and we will go on with GLD. Hi, GLD.
Hello. How's everybody doing today?
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you to all the speakers, and also thank you to all the listeners for being in this space. Yeah, this space is awesome, and Yeah, so long story short, my name is GLD, and I'm on my personal profile right now, but I'm the artist and co-founder of Non-Friendly Trolls NFT. It's a 10,000 collection, and we minted out 3, 4 weeks ago, I believe, and we minted out the whole collection in 17 hours.
Sorry, GLD. GLD,
Thank-
sorry to interrupt, but you know what's the topic? Because I feel a little that you're talking about your collection, but we are talking about our experiences and chill chatting with Mike and Shash. So I will appreciate that if you go on with the topic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I apologize. Because I'm
No problem,
multitasking
that
here.
would happen.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I'm multitasking. I'm doing some art here and listening in on the conversation. But yeah, so the topic is around experience within the NFT space currently.
Yeah, for sure. We are just having some questions for Shash and Mike as they are just collectors and they have their unique visions and people just asking some questions from them to share their experiences. Yeah, that's the topic.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just give you one quick thing. One important thing on my end for NFT collectors that I've learned along in my journey, at least, is community is very important. So don't burn any bridges. Share as much knowledge as you can with one another, and just be supportive. Even if you can't go in and maybe you don't have enough money to buy into the project, just something as simple as following the page, tagging a couple people, retweeting, and just sharing the love. That goes a long way. It creates this like domino effect and this web. And if we don't support one another in any way possible, even if it's not through money, then who will? We're still very early in the space, and we just have to show up for one another. And yeah, community is massive. That's how I was able to mint out so quick, simply because of the connections I've made in this space. I never burn any bridges. I always show up when people need me to. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your advice and thank you for your point of view. And let's go to Vasuvian for the first speaker. Hi, Vasuvian. How are you?
Hi, magical lords. Maria, how are you doing, fam? Shout out to everyone. I didn't actually have a question. I kind of thought I was gonna ask something, but Mike put it right on the point. I was gonna ask him about what he think truth meant. So I really appreciate what you shared. I cannot go by the same vision. I actually just wanted to say thank you. This is the third time I came into the space. This is a wonderful discussion that you guys been having. Shash, I've been following you for a while. Mike, it's great to know more about you. See a lot of familiar faces, and I'm glad that you're recording this, Magical Lords, because these are the type of discussions that needs to be shared. And I would really appreciate everyone. I've been doing it, uh, not just tweet about NFTs that people have, but these kind of spaces and important discussions need to be tweeted out and talked about, even co-tweeted about, because it's not only about selling art. And sometimes people panic about what's going to happen next, whether it's because of the bear market or the price they're selling. And one of the other individuals, I forgot his name, god bless his soul, forgive me, but was talking about he's about 45 years of age. All I can say is that you shouldn't have to worry about changing yourself. We adapt and we grow, but that does not necessarily mean, at least in my opinion, that you have to change yourself to impress. Uh, I'm South Asian, a Desi, and I believe a lot of people believe in this explanation, and that is, we should not be trying to impress others. Should be trying to express ourselves as positively as possible. So that is more important in this world, and that's what we should be going by. So once again, I love all of you. I'm gonna go back to my work, but I really felt like if I had the chance, which thankfully I did, to come up here and congratulate all of you, Shash, Mike, and also all the listeners. because this is a wonderful opportunity that's Magical Lords, Pardis, and all of the rest over here up in the speakers are doing, and you're being part of. So you are already making history, all of you, all of us. So thank you. I'm gonna drop off. Thank you so much, Magical Lords,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for hosting for a long time.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Maximilian,
much.
for all the nice words and for your kind heart. Thank you, Paradis. Go on for the last question.
Yeah, it was a really nice space actually. I could listen to the hours and hours to the everyone every question, and it was very nice space. And yeah, for the last question, because this space is a different space and we talk too much about everything, and I want to ask of Shash and also Mike, what is the most important mental advice for all of the artists that they are working now in the market? We i know Mike is really nice in the mental advice, mental health advice. I want to listen to both of you.
Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you. I think the most important thing for an artist in this space when it comes to dealing with their mentality is to get grounded, because without a good grounded foundation, you can't build anything. It'll just fall down on top of itself. In order to get grounded, you need to be honest with yourself. You need to make some decisions, and you need to understand how your decisions impact outcomes. And this is something that if we all do this at different parts of our day throughout our life, what we'll find is that we're already unconsciously making these decisions. But when we go back to the awareness, like we spoke about earlier, and we have the awareness that the decisions that we make do impact the results and create our realities, then what happens is that we realize that we have a lot more control over the outcome than we previously believed. Asking ourselves questions directly like, what am I making this for? Am I here to generate income, or am I here to create and just be a part of something that is so brand new to humanity that I just need to be a part of this because it's going somewhere? I don't know where, but I want to be there when it gets there. You have to ask these questions of yourselves because the decisions that you make are going to impact the results of how you feel. And if you get stressed on something, the truth is that you're creating a situation for you to get stressed. It's the truth, and when we dial it back, we realize that nothing can actually happen to us unless we let it in or we say yes to it. So if we don't like a certain feeling, let's be aware of what we're doing to send us down the path to get that feeling. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you, dear Mike. Yes, Shash, we are here with you.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty interesting question, right? I think the key element is that one needs to keep it simple. Like, I really think artists need to keep things, at least in their heads, extremely simple, because simplicity really works, in my opinion. So, like, when I say that I don't support artists and I don't have any empathy for them, because the only thing I have for them is respect. And at the end of the day, that's all I feel an artist really needs from a collector. Like, at the end of the day, the payment we do is our form of respect for it, and that's all that I feel I can do, is like respect an artist. And everything around it comes because I do that. And an artist can do that fairly simply as well, right? Like, if you're reducing your price, you're not comfortable with doing that because you feel like you're disrespecting yourself, don't do it, because you're not believing in yourself, and you're not being just to yourself. So, like, I think artists many a time take actions which they're themselves not comfortable with, and kind of like, fall sometimes under peer pressure, sometimes under like just random analysis that they heard somewhere. But really breaking it down, not quickly changing stuff. Like, give it a week. Like, if you think your price isn't working, on change it. Think about why you want to do it. There is no hurry, in my opinion. This space isn't going anywhere, and you have enough time to think about everything that you're doing, right? And if you feel like anything that you're doing, whether it's reaching out to someone or anything that you feel like you're not getting enough respect, don't do it. Like, you don't have to really do it. You will have many other solutions if you just think a bit about it. And I really feel this is extremely important, to keep things simple and really survive, and keep your heads down and work, and keep looking for what you are, and you will find it. Like that. Like, I think this is sort of just an addition to what Mike said as well.
Thank you so much, dear Shash. Yeah, it is very nice advice for us, for all of us.
Okay, thank you everybody for joining me. Thank you for bearing with me actually, and joining me to the end, and listening to me. It was so amazing space. I really love that, and sorry to Shash and Mike. I said 1 hour, but it is more than 2.5 minutes that we are here. Really sorry for that. You all for days. Amazing and interesting. I really loved your views, and I hope we can talk more in the future. We can be connected together, and love you all. We will have such spaces on Saturdays and Wednesdays, mostly at 10 or 10:30 EST. So you can join me and have nice chill chat with people here that I have as guests, and we can just make our connection, as we are just in bear market. And I know it is just a little hard, as it is for me, but we can do it together. So join me to talk more and to build more. I will put the videos of spaces on my YouTube, so you can just go there as well, and listen to the spaces with subtitle. Thank you all. Have a nice day and night.
Thank you, everyone. Very
Thank
nice meeting
you.
you, and thanks for the
Thank you.
inspiration.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you, really thank you for dear Shash and dear Mike and everyone to come and with us. It was a really nice space. Have a good day. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. See you soon.
Goodbye. Bye.